The senior members of the Kinahan transnational criminal organization are currently living the lives of free men in Dubai. You might be wondering how the cartel still manages to operate now they have been financially sanctioned and had their travel restricted. Today we will look at Dean Masterson, a man close to the heart of the cartel who currently lives a lifestyle well above his means. Stay tuned to find out how authorities are focusing on Dean Masterson as they continue building their case against the Kinahans. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. During the Watergate scandal, which eventually led to the downfall of Richard Nixon, the phrase "follow the money" became the mantra that prosecutors used to build a case. Crime is almost exclusively committed to increase wealth, and by following the money, all parties involved can normally be rooted out. Authorities from several international agencies have been using the follow the money philosophy to track targets connected with the Kinahan cartel. One of those targets, Dean Masterson, someone who is close to Christy Kinahan Jr., is currently under the microscope for living well above his means. Masterson is a convicted criminal, previously jailed for using false documents in a mortgage application to KBC Bank that was the target of an investigation into mob money laundering. Dean Masterson was sentenced to 4 years imprisonment in 2021, with 3 of those years suspended, after the court heard he submitted false salary slips, a false P60, and fake bank statements when he tried to buy a house at Stonebridge in County Meath in 2016. Staff at the KBC Bank in Dublin became suspicious. An investigation was launched and he failed to get the loan. However, Masterson was already on the radar of the Garda's Drug and Organised Crime Bureau and Criminal Assets Bureau, who were investigating Kinahan mafia money. Masterson has worked as a taxi driver and a milkman, solid working class jobs that wouldn't generate an excessive amount of income. But what seemed fishy to investigators was that he had been taking numerous expensive trips to Dubai in recent years, and has been linked to key members of the Kinahan organised crime group. Detectives trying to get to the bottom of their finances in Ireland and how they pay their drug mules believe they always have used a structured wage system like an ordinary business. It is understood that €1,000 a week is a top executive salary within them, with the wages reducing under that, but the bonus payments are made at summer and Christmas times. Masterson is a close friend of Christopher Kinahan Jr., who has operated the money laundering side of the mob for years. He lived in Spain for a long period and was often seen driving Kinahan and his cohorts around the Costa. When he returned to Dublin, he began to drive a taxi and was working as a cabbie when he attempted to obtain the mortgage with fake documents. Dublin Circuit Court heard that personnel at the bank became suspicious of the documents, which included a false payslip P60 and 2 fake bank statements. The judge at his trial said that Masterson used premeditation and deliberation when he tried to draw down the funds in 2016. And had serious previous convictions, including robbery and attempted robbery. She said she would take into account his expression of remorse and shame, his history of addiction, his adverse childhood experiences, his work history, and his efforts to rehabilitate. She sentenced him to 4 years in prison, but suspended the final 3 on strict conditions. However, news reports show that Masterson remains under investigation due to his alleged links to the Kinahan organisation. It is understood that following his debacle with the bank, he spent protracted periods in Dubai in the company of senior mob men. In 2019, the house Masterson attempted to get a mortgage for was raided by the CAB, and it was discovered he still lived there despite never getting the mortgage. Deeds uncovered at the time show how the house is owned by a prominent builder. The well-known construction boss found himself caught up in a Garda investigation when another house he owns was raided in the posh suburb of Blackrock in South County Dublin. Real IRA thug Nathan Kinsella was discovered living in the €1 million property when members of the Special Detective Unit searched it, sparking fears that criminal elements have strong-armed the developer. It is understood that CAB investigations into several mob money men are underway, and the builder may well still be under investigation for mob links, as he has been interviewed several times by Garda. Just before Christmas of 2023, Dean Masterson tied the knot in a lavish ceremony with his long-term girlfriend Victoria at Ballymagavi village in County Meath. According to sources, several €1,000 were left behind the bar for guests to enjoy free drinks at this luxury event, which thankfully went off without a hitch. After celebrating Christmas as a newly married couple, it's understood Masterson and his bride jetted off on a no-expenses-spared honeymoon to Mexico. Maybe a high-profile luxury wedding might not have been the best option for Masterson, knowing that the CAB will be looking at the receipts and following the money. It has been reported that families of jailed cartel members are financially assisted, often finding cash stuffed through their letterboxes. Cartel members on the outside are paid weekly cash as part of a salary scheme, as well as receiving bonuses. Dean Masterson may well have the spotlight cast on him by investigators as being a likely suspect involved in all of these cash drops, especially due to his links with the key Kinahan money launderer, Christie Jr. Being a milkman or a taxi driver would be a perfect cover occupation for someone involved in moving volumes of cash door to door among cartel members. These are both jobs that we know Dean Masterson has done. With recent reporting showing that the CAB is currently focusing on over 1,400 suspects, with more to be announced, we think that it might not be long before Dean Masterson has to answer serious questions about how he pays for multiple foreign trips, expensive weddings, and a luxury honeymoon, all on a milkman's salary. Investigators have worked tirelessly in efforts to break the wall of silence that is protecting the Kinahan crime family. Following the money and investigating cartel inner circle members like Dean Masterson continues to put pressure on the Kinahans and how they do business. Thank you for joining us on Crime Chronicles today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends.